This is Chapter 5 of our Curriculum Guide digital slideshow. This is for our rising seniors, our current juniors, as you are looking ahead to your final year of academic experience here at MICDS. And I'm going to walk you through this process. I know that you all are very familiar with this. This form that I've just put up on the screen, the pre-registration form, is something you all are very familiar with. But do note on that left-hand column that the requirements per department are listed there. And many of these you will have completed already, but not all of those. So make sure you're mindful of those going forward. And again, as you work through the process, remember that your advisor and your dean and your college counselor will help you. Let's start with English. And English is the one that, remember, regardless of what requirements you have filled to this point, you still have 3 trimesters of English left. Here is the curriculum guide flowchart for our English department, and you're focused on that right-hand column for rising 12th graders, the pink boxes. All rising 12th graders will register for 2 electives from the grade 12 elective list for T1 and T2. All students will also register for advanced literary topics, the senior capstone class, during T3. There are no specifically designated AP English courses. All seniors are invited to take this exam at the end of grade 12 after attending several review sessions. Now, once you have made your elective selections for English, you'll go back to your pre-registration form. Note here on our sample that this student has chosen short story, satire, and then the required advanced literary topics during trimester 3. Moving forward to our history curriculum. All rising 12th graders have the option of taking AP Government, AP Macroeconomics, and or AP European History T1 through T3. Additionally, students have the option of taking additional grade 12 history electives during T1, T2, and or T3. So you're focused on that right-hand box under grade 12, and then you can see also under that the electives that are listed that are open to 12th graders. Those are grade 11 and 12th grade electives during T1 and T2, and then grade 12 electives during T3. Okay, so back to our pre-registration form. Here you can see that this student has selected to take Election 2012 in trimester 1. Okay, moving forward to our math curriculum, you'll notice here that we've fleshed this out a little bit on the left-hand side so you can see the progression from 8th grade forward, and that's largely for our lowerclassmen. But as you look at this again, you're focused on that right-hand column for grade 12. Rising 12th graders' math options vary depending on their track. Current Integrated Math 2 students will register for either Math Modeling and Trigonometry T1, T2, and an elective T3, a series of electives T1 through T3, or Financial Algebra with an additional elective. Current Math Modeling and Trigonometry students will register for a series of electives T1 through T3, Calculus T1 through T3, AP Statistics T1 through T3, and or AP/AB Calculus T1 through T3, depending on performance, interest, and prerequisites. Current AP/AB Calculus students will register for AP/BC Calculus T1, T2, and an additional elective T3, AP Statistics T1 through T3, or other math electives depending on interest. Any rising senior who has completed Integrated Math 2 regular or accelerated can double up with AP Statistics or other math electives. Okay, again, I flipped over to the pre-registration form here, and now you can see that we've got the math row filled out as well. Let's move forward to world languages. Students are required to complete through level 300 of one world language without interruption and should consult their college counselor if they do not plan to continue in the same world language beyond this level. Students may begin taking a second world language during the final year of the graduation requirement, the 300 level, concurrently with their primary world language choice, or at any time beyond completion of the requirement. Italian is offered as a year-long elective for juniors and seniors who have completed the world language requirement. It does not, however, satisfy any portion of the world language graduation requirement. World languages offered in the upper school are Mandarin, French, German, Latin, and Spanish. Now you can see here this student has clearly completed their 300 level in another language, and so they've chosen to take Italian as a year-long elective during their senior year. Okay, let's move forward to science here. Okay, now you've got our science department flowchart in front of you, and you'll notice this one's slightly different than the other departmental flowcharts in that it's not really broken down by grade level sequence as much as it is just by sequence, of course, into the culminating AP courses. So on the left-hand side of the page, you'll see shaded boxes. Those are required courses. Most of those, if not all of those, you've already completed, with the exception of perhaps electives, the applied science 2 trimesters required of electives down below. So this is what I want you to focus on. Rising 12th graders may register for applied science topics based on prerequisites and/or AP science courses. Kinematics and dynamics, astrophysics, nuclear science, marine ecology, the Little Cayman Research Center trip, women in engineering, physics of design, and astronomy are offered during Elliott Summer Academy. All core science courses must be completed by the end of T2 of grade 12. So you can see on our registration form we've got those completed, forensics and kinesiology after the second trimester. We've also added in this one sound and light during trimester 3 to continue with the science experience. Okay, let's move forward to our art department. And I'm going to show you two different flow charts here, one for our performing arts and one for our visual arts. And I'm just going to kind of talk over them because these requirements are fulfilled by both. Students are required to take 6 trimesters of art over the course of 4 years in the upper school. I'm going to flip to visual arts here too. Choices vary between visual and performing arts and are sequential based on prerequisites. Please talk with your advisor if you have any questions. Let's take one last look at our pre-registration form. Note here that this student has decided to continue on with their band experience in art, so they filled out the art row. They've also filled out the athletic row down below. Keep in mind that students are required to participate in sports 1 trimester during grade 12. Team sports, essential fitness program, and the independent sports option can satisfy this athletic requirement. See the curriculum guide for more details. Note, too, if you look in the trimester 2 column, that this student has added a second history elective, Cold War, during that trimester 2. If you count across, they've given themselves 6 classes in trimester 1, 6 classes in trimester 2, and 5 classes in trimester 3. Okay, this completes our Chapter 5 Curriculum Guide digital slideshow for rising seniors. Best of luck to you all in your final year at MICDS.